Well, welcome. I'm here with Ted Rubin. We're here live at Cisco Live here today, and Ted is the author and social media strategist. He's the author of Return on Relationship, the bigger brother or bigger sister, whichever you want to say, of my book, H to H, but I'm so excited because you have been a great mentor in my life, and now I get a chance to actually interview you here. I've done it before, as you know, but excited to be here live with you.
Loving being here. It's a fabulous conference. It's amazing the way this is put together, the extent of it. Excited to be here, and you know, so much that we've done together over the last few years since we met, that I just think it's really cool that Human to Human and H evolved and kind of launched out of a conference that we were doing together. So that's really exciting.
That's true.
And I think a photo that I took of you was a big part of that. So
it was.
That was fun.
It was a launching point.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is just your experience here. Now you have been an influencer here, and you know, obviously they handpicked just a small group of people to be able to bring here and experience what's going on at Cisco Live, so that you can in turn hopefully be able to say what's good, what are the challenges, what do you see coming, what have you gleaned from the conference so far, what are you taking away from it?
That technology is moving at such a fast pace that I don't think it's really possible to keep up with it. And I think that a lot of us make a mistake of thinking we have to keep up with it, and I don't think we do. So, you know, as you know, technology at its heart is not my expertise. I find technology, or platforms, and I figure out how to best leverage them from a marketing relationship building standpoint. The back end technology of it is not for me. So when I'm in some of these events, some of the language goes beyond anything that is something that I'm really interested in. But what I like to do, and I love being with guys like you and some of the others you've brought here, is that we can boil it down. You can boil it down for me, and then I can say, okay, this is what we can use it for, and this is what's happening with it. So I'm really enjoying being here, and it's a different experience for me because it's a whole different crowd of people.
Yeah.
And seeing, you know, I think someone sent out a tweet earlier today that this is Cisco taking over the world conference.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really where they're looking at it, and in many ways, from a technology standpoint, they are. So or at least a technology backbone standpoint.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so what are a couple things that you've seen maybe that you can explain that you've seen for the first time? Is there any first time things that you've seen here that?
No, not really. You know, look, a big part of my perspective, and this is, which I think in a way I'm a good part of this group, because my biggest fear is that people are looking too far forward. I mean, I'm a big believer. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Jeff Bezos. I think the reason he's so incredibly successful, besides his brilliance, is his ability to not care about today and look 20 years out. But I think too many people worry too much what's around the corner and aren't concentrating enough on executing what's now.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, for me, I love being here to hear about it, and I like to be able to evaluate it, think of how it's going to affect something, but I want to use that to figure out what am I going to do today to use what I'm already learning about, what I already know how to use, and how to use it better.
For me, it's counting on the internet being up.
Right, exactly. Well,
Actually having a speed to work with here at the conference has been phenomenal.
I have to tell you, and we've been to a number of conferences together, the best connectivity ever. I mean, and you know, you'd look and you'd say, well, Cisco, I mean, they have to have good connectivity. How, you know, crazy would it be if they didn't? But then again, you and I have been to other conferences, technology companies not named here, where the technology just failed.
Right.
And they brought in people like us, influencers, the press, other people, and we couldn't even get out our information in real time. And if anything, what we're learning now, and the technology to me, and what's tomorrow, and what's happening, that's most important, is the real-time nature of everything, the way that things are happening so fast. And if you can't be interacting with it, engaging with it in real time, I'm not saying it doesn't have value, because it does, because I talk about repeating your content, using it over and over.
Right.
But when you're at a conference where news is breaking, where things are happening, how could you not be connected? And they've done a tremendous job. I mean, the way this conference is so wrapped up, the timing of things, the way they're coming off on time, the scheduling, it's incredible at such scale. You know, I think this is, and I think we've met the team. This is a business unto itself. And what really hit me the most in the panel that we were sitting in and listening in on, is that when we were talking about how impressed we were, that socially they were engaging without having to worry about legal and getting approval. And their answer was, well, we run our own thing. Cisco Live is us. And it's a whole separate company.
Yes.
in many ways. That's overlaid over the business of Cisco. And I think that's really the most incredible way that they look at it. They let this run as a business unto itself. It's not people that run other businesses that are then doing this in other parts of their time.
It's a very healthy way to be.
I think so. It seems to me like it's a year-round job,
Right.
Analyzing how they're doing this and figuring out how to do it better. And hey, guess what? They're making it happen. They're pulling it off.
So it's no secret by now that you've written a phenomenal book called Return on Relationship. You have experienced firsthand an event, in a lot of events, how people can get together and they can talk. Do you feel like there's any challenge here for that, or is it all positive in terms of people getting together and talking? Where's the social aspect and the return on the relationship here at the conference?
At any conference this size, it's a real challenge. Because, I mean, what number did they quote us? 26,151 attendees
And
so
going
far.
up, yeah.
And going up.
And it was at 20,000, I think, last year, so it's...
And just a few years ago, I think they quoted 10,000.
Right.
So, and again, it doesn't matter what the other years were.
Yeah.
You come here and you're overwhelmed. So if I see someone I want to talk to, what I've learned these things is, I have to talk to them now, because I'm not going to find them again. Even in our small group of influencers. What are there, 30 of us here?
There's 20 of us.
Okay, 20 of us. And people are just dispersing into different areas of the conference, and you see them for a moment and you don't see them again. So, I have a new book coming out called Look People in the Eye Digitally. And I think that what that has to do with is knowing who they are. Don't just click a button to think they're your friend. Look at who they are, call them by name, find out what their background is about, read something in their bio. I think it's even more so important here, like when you meet somebody, to quickly figure out who they are, ask them questions. Don't just say, hi, how are you, shake their hand, grab a card. Find out what they're doing, what's important to them. Because again, the odds of you bumping into them again here is unlikely. So to me, that's the challenge at a big conference like this. It gives you the ability to scale meeting a lot of people in one place.
Yeah.
And it's great when you can take all these connections and people that you might have known digitally, and now meet them and put a face to the name and actually look them in the eye instead of doing it digitally. But it's a challenge to do it with so many people. So you just have to take every chance you have. You have to grab people when you can. You can't say, I'll catch you later. I've already done it a couple of times, and guess what? I'm leaving early tomorrow morning and I haven't caught them later.
Right.
So I think that's one of the biggest challenges. It's something at this scale.
Give me, this is great, I love looking people in the eye digitally. Is that right?
That's right.
Give me 3 to 4 points. How can people look at each other in the eye digitally?
Well, the simplest things, and by the way, this is nothing but digitized, or the digital age Dale Carnegie. So I like to tell people when I'm speaking in front of groups of people that the best social media book ever written was written in 1936. And it's more relevant now than it was then. Because then you only had a few people in your town, or a few people you bumped into locally, whereas now you're meeting all these people. And do things like call them by name. It's really not that difficult. Most people's handles are their names, and people still aren't doing it. Thank you. Appreciate your retweeting. They don't even bother that. And what they've forgotten is that the most beautiful word to any person in any language is the sound of their own name. So a simple thing like on Twitter, on Facebook, is that when you respond to somebody, always use their name. And guess what? If their name is not listed, it's even better when you have to dig down a little bit for it, because then they know you made the effort. So one of two things happens. Either they said, wow, Bryan knows me, or they say, wow, Bryan went to the effort to get to know me. And then there's other little things you can do. Like every profile has a name of a town somebody's from. So look, I'm lucky, I'm old, I'm 56 years old. I've been around a lot, so I've been to a lot of towns. So there's very few that I can't make a comment about. But anybody these days in Google, there's no excuse not to look something up. So if I see someone's from Park City, when I reply to them, I'll make a mention of how much I love to ski. Or I'll look at their thing and there will be something about how they love shoes, and I'll say, wow, that's funny, I love shoes too. Or anything simple like that.
Or socks.
Excuse me.
You are a sock guy.
Or socks. I'm a sock guy. I mean, whatever it happens to be, there's things you can say. You can look at their photo and make a comment of something in the background. You can read their profile and notice that they have kids. Look, it's no different than when we were trained. I don't know if you were ever in sales or any kind of a meeting person, or when you went on your first date and your mother or your father said, look her in the eye, son. Don't look around the room, make sure you're paying attention. Well, what I was trained as is a sales guy at the beginning, and by the way, I want to make a note here that I think the best marketers were sales guys at one point. Because why? Because they're taught to listen. They're taught to observe. They're taught to take things in. So the first thing I was taught was go into an office, look on the walls, look at the diplomas, look at the photos. Is he a fisherman? Is he a golfer? Does he have kids? Is he a grandfather? These gives you these give you forms of commonality and a way to make a connection and to talk to somebody about things that they care about, rather than necessarily what are their pain points, what's important to them.
Right.
So to me, what I'm trying to do is take those things in the regular world and bring them into the digital world. And most people overlook it completely. And look, Facebook's done an incredible thing. They own the word friend, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I've asked rooms full of people with hundreds of people, when you close your eyes and think of the word friend, what do you see? You see a Facebook logo. You don't see your friends. We have to take the word friend back and give it value again.
Well, that's excellent. And Ted, as you know, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but unfortunately we're out of time.
We're not here to talk all day? Come on, man, I have so much more to say. I mean,
I know.
Like, for instance, like every time you interview me, you're wearing the same jacket.
Yes.
Now, what I want to know is it like the Seinfeld Superman episode, where the woman he was dating always had the same dress on,
right?
And he wanted to know, did she have a closet full of those dresses?
Yes. I can't reveal my secret because Superman would never reveal who he really
important,
is.
yeah.
So we're going to have to end on that.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Love being here. Honored that you brought me to this event, and really a pleasure to be here in Cisco. Thank you very much, Cisco Live. Amazing event.
Great. Thank you. Cheers.